So we're going to start by telling you guys a little bit about ourselves and our background until they figure it out. So I'm Ilay. I grew up in Israel in a small town called Binyamina. I have 3 siblings, 2 of them now in Israel. My brother is a lone soldier. My sister is here. No,
What's up, everyone? So my name is Iddo. I also grew up in Israel, in the northern part of the country, in an area called Emek Israel, for those who know. It's near Haifa. I have 2 younger siblings. One of them is also here.
Yeah. So we both grew up in Israel. We didn't know each other back then. And by 10th grade, when we were sophomores, both of our families decided to relocate to California. So we found ourselves in the same town in Sunnyvale, going to the same public high school, Homestead, and as part of the Tzofim, and this is how we met. So last year, we co-led את הצופים, ריכזנו את שבט המפרט, מי פה משבט המפרט? פה ב-JCC. And the reason we're here is because this year we're doing something very unique about Israel that we created last year that we're going to talk about. So last year, we were seniors, exactly like some of you guys that you raise your hand, and we're thinking, what do we want to do? Okay, a lot of our friends did colleges, a lot of them did mechina. We personally also applied to colleges. I got into mechina. Iddo started the process for Shnat Shirut. But we still wanted to do something else because we moved at an older age and we felt like we have this kind of unique circumstances. And that's how we created our project. Okay, so what we're doing this year, we created SUBRES.
Yeah, so in practice, what we're doing, we're traveling to more than 15 cities across the U.S., delivering workshops at schools, universities, synagogues, youth movements, all of that kind of stuff. Really talking about Israel and giving them the tools to navigate challenging conversations. So we launched the tour 2 months ago in September. We just came back home, wrapping up our first round. We've been to 5 states so far. So we've been to Chicago. If we'll have the slides, we'll show you guys. We've been to Chicago for 3 weeks, then Boston, then New York, New Jersey. We've also had one short weekend at St. Louis. It was pretty nice. So we've had so far 60 different sessions. We've seen more than 1,500 students, and it's going pretty great. Let's see if we're waiting for the slides.
If not, we'll just continue.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so
all good.
Okay, so how we even start this project and how did it came about? Shh, guys. So when we were seniors, again, a lot of our friends decided to do other stuff and we wanted to do something else. And figuring this out again, what we wanted to do, we're thinking of 3 main things. Okay, we want you guys to take 2 when you're making decisions and you want to create your own thing and make decisions. So the first one was motivation.
Yeah, so we really think what's going to be interesting for us, and we thought, what do we care about? What do we want to change? So, and also on a personal level, we need to find this motivation, something that's going to fuel you, to make sure you're going to act and start doing stuff. So the first step was find something that you care about.
The second thing we found that we tried to think about when we tried to figure it out was, what's our passion? What do we like doing? Okay, what do you guys, think about it for a second. What do you guys wake up in the morning and you really like doing? You can do it all day, you really enjoy doing it. Us personally, we like talking politics, we like doing debates, we like speaking in front of an audience, in the scouts, leading other teens. And lastly, we thought, what were our strengths? What are we good at? Okay, try to think for a moment. What people come up to you and they ask for help? What do you guys think you're a little better than others? It doesn't have to be a subject at school. It could be something really small. And we understood the intersection between these 3 things. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve. And this is how we started creating this project. Oh, got it. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Now this doesn't work though. Oh, okay. So, okay. Okay.
So this is our program. We'll just go real quick. Okay. As part of this whole program, we forgot to mention, we collaborated with Israeli Spirit, which is the largest Israeli advocacy organization. We knew that we must have an organization. It's apolitical, run by thousands of volunteers from all across the country. So we reach out to them, and they're essentially our parent organization. Yes. So let's take a look what the tour looked like so far. You can see. Okay, that was Chicago, 3 weeks over there. It was pretty nice. And then Boston was the high holidays, but we managed successfully to have a lot of sessions there. Yes. New York and New Jersey. We also went to the UN with the Israeli delegation. It was just also a good time over there. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So we spoke for a moment about the three elements that really helped us, right? So again, let's take a look at them. Try to think, what is your motivation? What's one thing you really care about and you want to change, okay? What's your passion? What do you enjoy doing? What's one thing you like doing? And what's your strength? What do you feel like you're really better, like what you're good at and you can do and you feel like you have an advantage in? And the combination, the intersection between these three things, this is your vision, this is your goal, this is what you want to create, and this is how we got to make this whole thing. So you find your thing, you know what you want to do, you have your goal, you have your project, whatever it is. How do you go about it? Okay, so now we're going to go over some tips that throughout, we came here to the Z3 conference last year. Since then, we worked about this project nonstop, and we're going to share with you guys a few tips that helped us throughout our journey, that really helped us to do this whole project and go to all these places and make it happen, and we hope that you guys could take some of them as well. So the first tip, we can think about it as the 4 A's, right? Aspire, aim, act, and adapt. So aspire, you want to start by envisioning your end goal. Where do you want to be? Okay, what would success look like? Who do you want to become? Where do you want to be? And you really try to envision it. What will be the steps together and where do you want to be?
And exactly as we said, so we were seniors last year. We thought that we wanted to do something else than Mechina or a college. And then we went to the Z3, like you guys. So we started, had meetings, connections. Then we envisioned what we want to do. So we put on one document just who we are, what's our background, what's our mission, what are we trying to achieve, and really start outlining what the activities are going to look like. So we started creating maps and stuff like that.
Okay, the second A is aim. You want to take this vision and break it down into small steps that you can actually achieve, right? It could be habits, it could be just small steps that you can actually pursue every day. What? Yeah, we got the sound at least. That's a gamtov, the gamtov. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so again, as we said, break it into small goals. So the first step would be to have a parent organization. So we started reaching out to a lot of organizations, and then we found Israeli Spirit. We knew that we must have PR. We need to make sure people know about this project, and we need to raise their awareness. So it happens. So we said, this summer, we're going to Israel. We're going to have media interviews, and it happened. And last thing, we said what success will look like. So we said we're going to make it to 15 different cities across the US. We're going to engage with 5,000 students, and that's what we're doing now.
Act, okay? You have to start moving at some point. You can plan all day, but it's never going to be perfect. So at some point, you just need to start acting towards your goals. You need to make the first step. You can build some kind of a prototype, right? So it doesn't have to be physical, right, like in tech, but just to try it out, maybe to start small and to see how it goes, okay?
So, exactly as we said. So remember the maps from before? We actually started making them, testing what's working and what's not. We started building our actual presentations, our materials for those workshops. And lastly, before we launched the tour last year, senior year, we actually had a pilot session at Palo Alto High School. We went there to see what's working, what's not, taking some pictures, trying to get on it. Also like a prototype, some would call it.
And lastly, adapt. As you go and you start, doing these things, you have to reflect along the way. You need to see what works, what doesn't work, and how we can improve to replicate what works and to change what doesn't work.
So again, in our case, so we launched the tour, we went to Chicago, and then a non-Jewish audience, a Christian school, reached out to us and said, hey, do you want to come to speak at our school? And at first, we didn't think it's going to be the right thing for us to do, but we had to adapt as we go. So we went to this Christian school. That's the picture with all the teens over there. Same idea with universities. So this university, Brandeis University as bottom, they reached out to us and, hey, do you guys want to come to speak at our Hebrew classes? So we said, yeah, for sure. And as we go, we adapt, added more materials, and it's really important to keep in mind all the time. It's not going to be perfect. You need to start and have this flexible mindset. You need to know that it's not going to be perfect, and as you go, you need to have this flexible mindset to adapt, to get better, to improve while you're going.
Okay, so just on, we know we didn't have a lot of time, but we just want to end on a final note. So try to think of this one goal that you put to yourself at first, or even if you're not sure exactly what it is yet, like you want to do something, but you're not sure what it is, try to think of the things we talked about today. Try to think, what's your motivation? What do you care about? Okay, what are you good at? What do you like doing? Okay, think about these things. Even today in the conference, go to the places that you're interested in. Hear the speakers. You're going to have breakout rooms after. Okay, go to these places that you're genuinely interested in, not just going with your friends, to actually see what you want to do. If you know what you want to do, try to think of the tips that we talked about today, right? How do we go about it? Okay, the 4 A's, and that's it. Just start going, and you can do whatever you guys want. So, thank you so much. And just if you guys want to follow Israeli Spirit.
And last thing, if you have more questions in general about what we're doing, any other questions, we're going to be here throughout the day. We'd love to talk to you guys. And yeah, thank you very much.
We'll be here. And thank you so much, Lara, for organizing all this.
And Nirit. Okay, thank you so much. Let's do one more big round of applause for these guys. Get your energy out. Woo! You know how there's a tradition, a Jewish tradition, to spill the first glass of wine on the Passover table so that once somebody starts spilling the wine, they don't feel bad about it. So I just want to give a special thank you with that little blip that we had. This is our first ever big teen summit event, and there are going to be mistakes, and you guys were an amazingly supportive, gracious audience. So really, a round of applause to you. Round of applause to you. Hopefully everything will continue to flow smoothly from here on. All right, so what's happening next is we're going to be seeing in a moment on the screen Sarah Hurwitz. She's going to Q&A with them. Oh, great, amazing. Okay, come on back up. Sorry. Okay, we have more time than that. Come on up. So here's your chance to ask these storytellers. Again, imagine that there isn't a stage here. PowerPoints are not usually how people have conversations. Like, you're having a cafe meeting with these two brilliant visionary teens. Ask them questions. Don't think that you can't do things that they've done or things like they've done. We have an amazing opportunity to learn from each other. So I love how there's already a hand up. And I'm going to actually walk into the audience with the mic so we can hear you. Thank you for being our Nachshon, our first person.
What do you think of Donald Trump and his administration?
I think we'd like to ask questions that's their expertise. But you want to try another one? About like what they're good at doing? But thank you. It can be about result. Okay, some of you came in late. For all those in the back who came in late, we have a mantra today. It's be curious. Not furious. Oh yeah, say it again. Be curious.
Not furious.
So somebody might say something that you're like, I don't know what that was about. I don't connect to that. That's cool. You just be curious, not furious. Okay, do you have a question about Israel you want to ask them? Yeah.
What do you think of the war? Who thought? Oh no, no, it's fine. Who do you think is right in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict?
Big questions are being asked today. Big questions. Okay, how about we say, are you, what's your name? Daniel? Are you coming across on your tour people who are asking you, like, how to analyze the war that's going on?
Okay, yeah. So, of course, we're being challenged and a lot, because that's the point of our tour. We're coming to help people and navigate those challenging conversations. We've seen some people challenging us, but again, it's part of what we're doing. And again, we're trying to share the Israeli perspective, tell them the definitions, what's actually happening on the ground. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of misleading stuff, so we're there to tell them. And yeah, we'd love to take more questions.
All right, thank you. This works? Okay, cool. So I have my own business, and I already scaled to the first goal that I wanted. So I wanted to ask, how do you scale past that first goal and the first mission that you already made for yourself?
That's a great question. And we're back. Yeah, can you repeat the question so they can all hear?
Does this work? Can you come up here and ask it so we can see you and hear about your business later? We're going to ask you. We're curious. We're curious about it. Come. Yeah, and then if you have a question and you already know you have a question, you can also walk to the other side. This is where we're going to line up. Thank you. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Yodam. I live in Sharon Ramon, if anybody's from there. Yeah, so I have my own business, and I just wanted to ask you guys, like, after you reach the first point where you reach your first goal, how do you scale past that to go for, like, the bigger goal, the bigger mission? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's part of the aiming. So at the very beginning, you need to have an end goal. And as you said, so you've reached your first goal, that's the first step. I think it's also, as we said, we need to have flexible mindset. So as you go, you can add more stuff. I will just share, we forgot to mention. So this year is a pilot year, and we're really working hard to institutionalize this whole thing next year. And we're working with umbrella organizations to make it an annual program. So that's our bigger scale, if I were to compare. But really try to envision it as you go, see what's working, what's not, and trying to see if something is working, maybe you can make it even better, and trying to focus on those points.
Thank you. You know, I'll take that advice. I'll use it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah? Am I good?
My question is, first of all, what kind of audience do you have? Only like Jewish, or you go to public schools? And also, you feel very good about your project so far, even though it's pilot. So can you give one or two examples of we achieved that, or we felt that, or that was our goal and that's what we sensed? Like, how do you measure that? Why do you continue?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, so we go for both Jewish audiences and non-Jewish audiences. As we saw, we had, for example, in Chicago, we went to this Christian school. We go to a lot of public high schools, to the Hebrew classes. So we meet a lot of different people from all kind of backgrounds, people who are more immersed into everything that's happening, and people who are less, less informed. Wait, can you repeat the second part?
Yeah, and the second part, how do we measure success? So for us, the first goal was to really launching this tour. So we have the money and the connections and people inviting us to talk at their institutions. And we were able to secure that. Also regarding the materials-wise, we're being guided by a doctor for education from Israel who's holding a PhD. And she's taking samples after our sessions, making sure our content is actually effective. And I would say the next point that would measure success for us if we can have an annual program that will run next year and grow exponentially. But so far we've secured this tour. We're working to expand to another 10 cities, but reaching 1,500 students was a very big point for us. Come on.
What would be the perfect envision for your project and your mission?
Okay, so I think it's a very good question, and it's very relevant, pertinent to what we spoke about at first, right? Of what's the vision? You want to have a vision that will be realistic, but still something that's ambitious, that you want to create and like you want to be there, okay? For us, for example, coming here and be at the Z3 after last year, we just came to meet people, was the vision, okay? So I think our vision right now is, as Iddo just said, to have this program as an annual program to expand the amount of emissaries, the Shinshinim that are here, they have 14 Shinshinim. So if we could have next year something like 10 emissaries who will be in different regions and will deliver these workshops, I think it will be a very big success. And ultimately, to keep expanding to other places as well, like Canada and maybe even Europe at the end. Yeah.
אוקיי, השאלה שלי
I'm going to ask
זה,
a question in Hebrew.
מה התוכניות שלכם לאחרי? אתם מתכוונים לעשות את זה רק בשנה הקרובה?
What are your
או
plans
כאילו,
for the future?
מה
Is it just for 1 year?
So our plans, again, as we said, is to make sure that this program is running smoothly next year. But after that, we personally are planning to go back to Israel and enlist in the IDF, like the Shinshinim. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Here, I can move it. Alright, we have one.
That's all.
So recently in schools in our area, I know at Fremont, at Homestead, even at my school, Wilcox, we've had cancellations of speaker events. So I assume that you guys come to campuses as speakers. So I have two questions. First of all, how do you navigate the hate that you receive from, let's say, the opposing side? And how would you navigate being canceled at an event? And then how and where do you guys get your funding?
Okay, so very good. You want me to do the first part? Okay, so very good questions. I think the situation is very hard right now because, as you say, especially like, you know, a lot of schools, they don't want to get into these topics. They don't want to bring speakers who will speak about controversial things, whether they're Israeli, whether they're Palestinians. And that's why also our approach is not a comment, you know, to offer propaganda. We come and share our perspective as people who lived in Israel. And we also talk about Israel across other realms. We believe that people today view Israel, they have a very narrow view of what's Israel. They see always war, and they see, you know, the Middle East, and they see politics and everything that's happening. And we come to talk about Israel as a startup nation, about Israel's humanitarian efforts, about Israel across other realms that could really gain support from other directions. Because people are so, they have so much of this information in what's happening with the war that people can't comprehend that Israel is just a regular country that does other stuff regardless.
And regarding your funding question, so our PERT organization really helped us with having a website and media interviews, and we are tax deductible in the US 501, but the rest of the tour is only on us. So we're building the schedule, we're fundraising all of our money, whether if it's private donors, institutions that are paying us to come to their school. Of course, all of our work is completely voluntary, but we do fundraise, you know, to cover the cost of materials and cost of living, transportation, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll even add on to that, you know, fundraising money at first, it sounded crazy, like how are we going to do that? But again, the moment you have your vision, okay, you need a certain amount of money, and then you break it down into steps, like how much money exactly do I need, and how am I going to make it? Who am I going to reach out to? And at first, it's not perfect. Our first meeting, we went to I think it was in Palo Alto. We met this one person, and it was horrible. Okay, but you finish the meeting, and you reflect. You see what was good, what was bad. You change your slide, and gradually, you're just becoming better, naturally. And after you do something over and over and over, you just, again, if you reflect and you adapt, eventually you're going to make it. If that's what you're determined to do and you know what you do and you break it into steps and you're going to adapt, but you have to keep going. You have to keep going. We started a tour when we didn't have the full amount of money, and we continue to fundraise the money. Yesterday we had an event in Palo Alto where we invited people and we spoke about the project. And it was much more successful than the things we had at first. Again, because you learn throughout the way. And this is also why don't be afraid to take steps that, you know, to do things that seem challenging, because only when you get out of your comfort zone, you're being like, you know, you're not sure and it doesn't seem right and you don't know what to say. These are the places when you actually grow and you learn to become better. If you just stay at your place and you're like, it's hard to go ask for money and to have meetings, and you know, even people coming from Israel, like my English is not that good. We came sophomore year. If you stay at your comfort zone, you're never gonna get more than that. So you have to do these things that seem kind of ambitious at first in order to continue and grow.
I would ask about your program. So my question is that, so you said that next year you're going to go to the army in Israel. So who's going to take over this program? Like, who's going to keep it alive? And how all those guys here, you know, the seniors and everything can join to this program and, you know, to flow with it. Thank you.
Yeah, so of course our parent organization, they're guiding us and they're with us throughout this year. And they're gonna stay involved, of course. We're also, while we're going, we're talking with a lot of other people who are in the process, and we're gonna make sure before we enlist that this program is running smoothly. We're not obligated to go back to the military, but we really want to go back. So we have the privilege to really make sure it's set down, running smoothly next year, and then we'll have the time to enlist in the IDF.
Yeah, and also connected back to the previous point, we believe this year is a pilot, right? We build a foundation, we talk to all the communities, but we believe that the actual impact will come only from a long-term program. The problem is not going to be solved by one workshop, right? So we want to make this something like the Shinshinim, which is a very good model that's yearly, that you can go back, you can talk about the facts, because things are changing every day, right? What we speak about today, tomorrow, everything, new things unravel with the war and everything that's happening. So it's really important to have this program as a long-term thing, and this is what we aim for. Again, this is our vision.
And if someone wants to join, please come talk to us later. We'll take your contact. We are starting.
We are recruiting, yeah. We are in the process of recruiting for next year with the goal of having 6 to 10 emissaries next year across all different places.
Any other questions?
My dad runs a program like this where Palestinian and Israeli students talk to each other about these types of issues. It's yearly, and it's at Cal, with facilitators also. And also, I wanted to say that do you think that it's good for people to be able to talk to each other about these issues who are different, who have different opinions?
Yeah, completely. So I think also part of the reason why, as I said, we don't come and just give propaganda. Part of what we do is try to help people know how to have a dialogue, right? Because what happens today effectively is we're all in our echo chambers. We hear just our information. We talk just to the people we think like, and we don't actually having these hard conversations. And when we come and do these workshops, we talk to them about how do we have a dialogue, right? We give them topics. We let them debate with each other. We see how they do it. And then we talk in the context of Israel. But what happens today, they will inevitably have these difficult conversations because they're going to go on to college. They're going to have roommates who are either not supportive of Israel or just not informed, or supportive of Israel, but they don't understand why their tax money is going to Israel, right? And they need to know how to have these conversations and not just to ignore them or try to not get into them because it's difficult. We need to know the facts. We need to know to speak about them. We don't have to know everything, but we need to know to give our perspective in a compelling way, because we can't just not engage. We have to. And, think of the numbers. We have 10 million Jews in the diaspora. Think how many Muslims we have, right? We need to speak up. We need to be able to share our perspective, okay? So we also talk about this and how to have an actual constructive dialogue and not just to argue with each other. Thank you guys so much. It was really, really fun.
תודה, תודה.